It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Everybody want to say what up?
What's going on, good people? You already know. It's your boy Smooth.
Hey guys, it's
Hola.
your girl Sunny Day.
Hola, it's Dane.
What up? What up? What up? So we got everybody in the building. Hype will probably join in later on as he always does. And tonight we have a great show lined up for you guys. It's August 16th.
My daughter's birthday.
Oh yeah. Shout out to
Zaria. Happy birthday, Zaria.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like
And
I
since,
ain't about to say that baby name.
tear her name up. Yep. Shout out to Zaria.
hold up though, since we giving birthday shout outs, my brother Mike, my little brother, youngest brother Mike, his birthday tomorrow. So I want to give him
birthday, Mike.
All
All
right.
right.
Is that the one that graduated?
Nah.
Oh.
Nah. He going to the 10th grade.
Oh,
10th grade already. The one that graduated, that's Joe. One that graduated last year, that was Daniel. And the one that graduated the year before that was Frank.
It was like a whole bunch
Like
of
20 of
all
y'all.
the brothers, right?
Man,
Yeah.
y'all keeping up the wings.
right, exactly.
And my sister was the year before that.
That's how the Wayans did it. That's crazy.
And
Well,
here comes
tonight's show is
Cinco.
all about families and
Not pressing
and
stuff.
in particular the trickle-down effects of bad parenting. So tonight's show is we're gonna dive deep into things such as parental trauma, generational issues, as well as raising other people's kids. So we're gonna talk about all that and kind of walk through those things, through those scenarios and what we think about it. So great show lined up. I think we're going to hopefully get to a after show topic as well that I want to bring up later. So we'll bring that up later. And but enjoy the ride and thanks for watching. And let's get to it. So trickle down effects of bad parenting. I think this was a consensus topic. We all kind of we fell into the topic somehow a couple of shows ago, and we all kind of definitely understood the assignment because either we've already been through it or we've seen people go through it or so on and so forth. We see it on social media all the time. And so basically parental trauma, let's start there. What's y'all thoughts on how parental trauma affects, I would say, this current generation in terms of the things that we've done to our children or that people have done to their children that are a little younger than us? Because there's people that are in their mid 20s, late mid to late 20s that are raising kids that are school age, kids that are even going into middle school as well. And what do you guys think about the effects of that on this youngest generation? And what I'm talking is definitely from school age going up.
Communication. I think one of the we always say communication is, I think, the biggest theme on this show. We always say that, but I think the lack of good communication, proper communication from parents to their kids, talking at them instead of talking with them. I think I see that a lot. I notice I've done that. Like I said, I got a daughter going to the 3rd grade, and sometimes I had to catch myself from talking at her to actually listening to her. You feel me? Sometimes we forget that we were kids too, and sometimes we just want people to listen to us. You know what I mean? Even if we're not right, but just listen to us and then tell us we're not right. So I think that one of my biggest things that I've noticed is a lot of parents, you hear they yell at their kids, they cuss at their kids, they don't, and then it's almost like gaslighting. Mm-hmm. Like you disrespect your kid in hour 1, then hour 2 you trying to hug up on them and talk sweet to them. The next thing you know, you cussing them out again. You feel me? So I notice a lot. I hear it. Kids parents up and down my street, you feel me, yelling, cussing at their kids. So I think communication, poor communication skills that wasn't developed properly is one of the major issues.
Okay. Sonny?
I want to tie into that because I think communication, and I'm coming from a different angle, and kind of go to a little bit with my upbringing, how we were raised. You couldn't really communicate with your parents, and like you couldn't talk to them because if you asked certain questions, it was assumed that you had already done some of the stuff that you were asking, or like, why are you curious? Why are you even asking me this? It wasn't the openness of having those types of uncomfortable conversations. And I think that leads to a lot of the stuff we see now because you never really was able to communicate with your parents in the way of not even talking at me, it's just having a conversation about certain things. Because when you, like I said, we talked on past shows about how we got introduced to different things in our life by our friends or seeing their parents talk to them about it or someone else talking to us and not directly our parent. I think the openness of accepting your kid coming to you, because everybody wants their kid to come and talk to them, but you have to be able to be approachable and be able to receive that conversation and understand that sometimes it's not going to be what you want, but at least they're talking to you about it. So you can give your opinion and your views on it, not necessarily put your views on them, whether it's religious wise, peer pressure, just different things that we go through as we went through as teenagers. I think the communication, being able to talk about things and not send them to get it from other people.
Right.
So I think that aligns with Clint's communication.
Gotcha. Dane?
Man, I'm just going along with the ride. Communication is one. It's not just how you say it, it's what you say as well. I mean, you want that open communication. You don't want to just badger your kid till they're just stunned, where they just don't want to communicate at all. They just shut down. Some kids, like myself, I shut down after a while.
Hey, Britt.
When I was growing up, my mom would just go in on me. You know, she did the best she could trying to raise 3 boys to be men after my father passed. But I try to listen to my daughter. You know, sometimes you want to just like, why are you doing this? You know, I just told you something specific. But sometimes you just got to take a step back and just try to listen to what they're saying and how they're feeling. Because I'm a guy trying to raise 2 girls. I don't know how to do this. This is my first time dealing with not just girls, but children right now. So I'm just trying to wing it, listen to you guys, see what y'all got to say about how to this communication in general.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the communication part. Heavily agree on the part about being approachable. You know, I think that's a big thing, is being approachable. Because Sonny, I think that was Sonny that made that comment in terms of we all want to be, we all want our kids to talk to us or to be that source of truth for our kids. But are we approachable? That's a great point. You know, not to you know, I don't want to jump on the same topic because we all can talk about being, communication, different points of communication, different types. But a different thing that I think that the kids are going through is experience. That I'm gonna try my best to explain what I mean by that in terms of a parental trauma thing. It's the aspect of, like when I said earlier about some of these school-age kids are being raised by mid-20 to 25-year-old or 25 to 30-year-olds, right? You're talking children raising children who were raised by children. So that lack of experience being passed down, what up, Hank? That lack of experience being passed down from one generation to the next, it gets diminished. Like I was watching this video about how if you upload a YouTube video multiple times, it gets worse and worse. The quality gets worse and worse, right? Same thing happens on Instagram, whatever. So it's the same thing. If you're taking this information that already was degraded because you got this kid that was, you know, raised by a 20-year-old or whatever, and or a 20-year-old, and then now this next generation is, you know, late teens, early 20s. And now they're raising another generation of kids that are going to probably be raising kids in their late teens, early 20s. That experience is not there. And it continues to degrade over time, over generation to generation. So, you know, unfortunately, we're seeing children who have less respect for authority, less understanding of how families should look when it comes to stable families, how communities should be basically be a community. You know, I look at when I was a kid, even though some of us were still kids being raised by kids, we were still in a community that embraced the children and helped the children through. Now we're afraid of our community, right? You know, you don't want your kid out there exposed to the community. You know, we have a reduced community anyway, because now community looks like the internet, the social media, that kind of thing. So I think there's the trauma of, you know, your grandmother is your great grandmother is 50 years old. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest trauma to some of these current children, is that they don't have that experience there. What up, Hype? We're talking about parental trauma and what it's doing to the current generation of children, the school age and up kids, and what you think is a parental trauma. We talked about communication. We talked about being approachable. I was just talking about lack of experience of the parent.
My bad, gang. The baby actually picked up the phone and then seen the shit light up and said, "Oh, damn, it's 10 o'clock."
No worries.
But damn, as the trend continues, that this is something else that I touched on before. What does the future family look like for these exact type of reasons?
Was it on some type of podcast you touched on this?
Oh yes, that was the How to Hustle podcast with Hype, Tuesdays at 2 o'clock on the GFT Radio Network. That's Eastern Standard Time, folks. My bad. 5 stars only. We don't accept 4. Had my man Smooth on yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my man Smooth. That'll be out in a few weeks. Sonny actually is featured on the episode that came out today. But that'll be debuting tomorrow, 2 o'clock.
Man, War. I'm about to get to that, man, War.
But yeah, my bad. What you was talking about though, Willie, is a sense of community. Mm-hmm. Even though it was a babies having babies situation has always been going on. They used to hide it back in the day. Now, but back then it would be like my mom is sitting on the step, your mom is sitting 2 doors down. The neighbors across the street is sitting out here. Somebody else is down the street on the other corner, and everybody's looking out for everybody's kids. Now it's so much a do for self, and it's no sense of community. It's no sense of togetherness. There's no sense of it's taking a village to raise these kids. Everybody raising their kids in their own separate pods. So it's like you talking about great grandmom is 55. Like, yeah, that means we've had multiple mistakes in multiple generations, and nobody's trying to fix the problem. That's also like you said too, like no respect for authority. If you never was shown to have, like, I've been Muslim my entire life. I would never walk past a church and just, cuss. I wouldn't walk past any religious setting and just use certain language, like, because it's a respect level that you were given as a child and things that you were understood. You were taught, you touch that stove is hot and you're going to get burnt if you touched it. Mm-hmm. Some people wasn't taught that. They just went up touching the damn stove and their hands is just on fire from it.
Right. They learned it by pure instinct and experience.
Yeah, like you always need to have, if you don't have stable parents, because everybody don't have a stable situation. Some people are being raised by a 12-year-old and they 8, 12, and 4, and they figuring it out. But it has to be like an uncle, a cousin, a neighbor, a teacher, a guidance counselor. There has to be somebody there that is showing this child something that they can gravitate towards. It's hard to recognize these things as a child. It's hard to put that pressure on a child. But if you're a child with the responsibility of 2 other people because you know your mom ain't shit, your dad ain't shit, or your aunt, your grandmama, whoever is with y'all. Like, it takes a lot for that child to recognize that. But like, I mean, hopefully they do realize it. Like, this is something me and Smooth talked about. And Smooth said this about his parents. Like, I don't want to dive too deep into his situation, but he told me this yesterday on the show. Was he recognized as a 12-year-old, y'all are better apart than together. I said that's some deep shit for a 12-year-old to realize. But in these situations that we're talking about, like, man, that shit even trickles down to the kids because it's just fucked up for so many generations. That's how we got here to the situation that we in.
And I want, excuse me. I also want to add, because I'm glad, Anwar, what do you think about general? This is basically what we're talking about, ignorance within our family. And ignorance, the definition of ignorance is just basically not knowing. And that leads to a lot. We'll learn something, we'll know something, but we won't apply it. You feel me? And I think that's what happens in our community a lot. We don't use applied knowledge. And
do as I say, not as I do type time.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Perfect. And also the lack of, back to your original question, not all black families. Don't get me wrong, because I know a lot of black families. I got a couple on my street who are, their parents die hard about their education. But education and a continued education of learning is not preached enough within the family unit. You feel me? You got a lot of parents out here, they just want their kids to go to school just so they could get their time to themselves. You know what I mean? They're not really, the kids come home from school, they're not checking their homework. They're not trying to figure out what they learned today, trying to add on.
Don't even know your teacher. Don't even know the teacher's name.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And we talked about this before about, going to PTO meetings. I understand, and we mentioned this before, that people got jobs and they can't make all of them. And to these parents teacher conferences or whatever. But sometimes you have to make an extra effort. And I notice in our community a lot, we don't make that extra effort. Our standards are low, so we expect or support the bare minimum. So if my kid's going good in school, he getting B's, he getting C. Well, guess what? That's good. That's good enough for me. You know what I mean? You ain't striving for excellence. That's what I noticed between the schools, going to a school that was all white and a school that was predominantly black. It's a level of standard between the two. And that's what we need to focus on more within our family structure, raising our standards.
I think it's a lack of balance too when it comes to kids, which Hype was saying about it takes a village to raise a kid. Most of these parents now, oh, you ain't gonna be touching my son or talk to my son any way you want to. You gonna respect my son.
Yep.
You can't talk to their kids.
Yeah, you gonna respect this child. This child don't have to respect you.
Little nigga standing on your car and they telling you to respect him.
But at the same time, it's some kids out here raising kids, and they don't know how to respect adults and authority because they said they want their child to be their best friend. They need to draw a line. I'm not my child's friend. I'm their parent. There need to be some type of stability and some firmness.
My go-to line, bro.
I just told my daughter that.
It's funny too, because now my daughter, 19. Even with me and her, we have our good moments where we're just like, we could just chill out and have fun. But like I said, with her, it's her mouth. So I have to remind her that she's not talking to none of her friends. I'm her mom, so I need you to check that real quick, because that's my problem as a parent. I like Clint said earlier, not talking at them or listening to them. She gets mad because I shut down. As soon as that disrespectful tone come out her mouth, there's nothing she can say to me. I don't care about what you're about to say. None of that. All that goes out the window. Stop talking to me like that. Who the hell are you talking to? And when you figure out who you talking to, you can change your tone. I listen to whatever the hell you got to say. But as soon as you come with that, well, everything, all bets are off. I don't want
your neck broke. Is something wrong? Mad. Like, what's going on right there?
Yeah. And she get mad. She be like, Mom, why you not listening? You don't listen to what I'm saying because you got to check your tone. who the hell you talking to?
And
gonna
what?
be
My
very-
drink, what?
I'm sorry,
Push
go
this
ahead.
button on that phone, let it light up, and see who you talking to. Because obviously you think I'm
Like,
somebody else.
Exactly.
So maybe
and
you
she
just
get
need to read
mad.
that it says Dad or it says Hank, like because this ain't that
Like I-
situation.
Right?
Like I listen to some people, like they talk about how generation curses, like Anwar. Somebody else was in our group, Aisha, breaking up how disciplining kids is a generational curse. I take that to a grain of salt. You know, I do listen to other people who have kids or raise kids and see how they treat their kids, how their kids turned out. I take everything what people say with a grain of salt and try to implement in me. Maybe I don't have to do it this way like I was growing up on. Like, but at the same time, you still need to be firm with these kids because
Facts.
you see what's going on when people try to be their kid's friend.
I
You
beat
got
my
these
daughter
guys
ass,
out here.
and I beat my
You
son
got these
ass.
guys going out, doing whatever they want to or whatever, and have no respect for women. Women have no respect for themselves. I work with it and see it every day at work, so I could see how these curses can be broken, but it's very tough. We have to change our mindset on
But,
respect.
But I wouldn't even say that's a generational curse.
but here's the thing about
Shouts out to the gang. Y'all just gave me a topic. I had to text that to myself. Make sure, you know what I'm saying.
here's the thing
Stay
about
tuned for that.
can they
To
be broken?
yourself.
Can they be broken? As a child, how the saying go? As a child, I thought as a child. As an adult, I think as an adult. So at some point in your adulthood life, you can't keep clinging on to what
To
happened
what was, yeah.
to what was. You have to make something new.
Yeah.
You feel me? So can they be broken? Yes. You don't have to accept. We hear it all the time. You don't have to accept your circumstances doesn't define who you are, so to speak.
But some
You know
people
what I mean?
make it so, Clint.
You can outgrow your circumstances at the end
Some
of the
people,
day.
but some people can't think that far ahead. They don't know how to do that.
But that's them having to take
That's
responsibility.
it. Yeah, that's on them.
Right.
Yeah, on their own life. You feel me?
Right.
Please let me go next.
Yeah, because at some point I have a family member who always blames their mother for the things that they go through. But you're grown. At this point, you gotta let that shit go
Yeah.
and move
At
forward.
one point, you're gonna take
You need to
accountability. You're gonna accept that and allow that to keep you where you at. Like,
You know what? I thought like that for a very long time. Now, like, no, I had to take responsibility for my own actions and be empathetic and put myself in my mom's shoes when she was raising me. She did the best. She did the best she could under the circumstances, trying to raise us after my father died. I mean, she did. She's a woman. She doesn't know how to really raise a man. She knows how to raise a child, I guess, and know how to feed, clothe us, and give us love. But as far as the other stuff, she doesn't know how to input, I guess, whatever it takes to be a man, what a man should be able to do. She just did the best she could. So I don't let her lack of knowledge deter how I think of her as a person, as my mom.
yeah, but I don't think it's it. I wouldn't even say
me
with
go after
lack of
Sonny.
knowledge, because I think a lot of us come into parenthood not knowing what to do. We saw what we saw growing up. We can take from what we saw. Most of us take from what we saw and change it depending on how we felt about how we were raised, and added our own little spin on how we raise our kids. But there's no manual. I think it has to be the maturity level of the person, because age doesn't define maturity. Like, even at I had my daughter, I was pregnant at 18, had her at 19. I was not 100% mature, but I knew that bringing her in this world, I had to change me, because I was on some destructive craziness. I think she saved me from being on the path that I was on. So when I had her, I was mom. Like, that was my mindset. I couldn't do a lot of the stuff, nor did I want to do the stuff that I was doing before. And I took gems from how I was raised, from my mom, my grandma, and them that I saw, and I kind of raised her. Not like I did the best I could at whatever age I am. Thank God she made it to 19, and still doing well, and she learned something from me. But it just, I think it's the maturity level of the person that's doing it. You have to understand that it's not about you. You have to have a different mindset like than what you did before. And if you don't know what you're doing, ask for help.
Yeah, some people just don't get it. Yeah, some people won't
Let-
get it and just don't want to get it.
Let's go to Hank real
Yep.
quick. Go ahead, Hank.
In the beginning, we are all bad parents, to be completely honest about this situation, because you just don't know. This baby comes and it's an earthquake to your entire situation. And it shatters everything that you thought, everything that you knew, everything that you were. You have to, the thing that we talk about is evolving in maturity. You have to evolve and mature once you have that baby. Some people that happens after 2-3 months, some people that happens after 6 years, 12 years. It just depends on the person. But in that beginning stages, those first 2, 3, 4 nights, we all suck because we don't know what the hell to do.
You just want to get that child love.
We're petrified of hurting this baby, of damaging this, especially you got a preemie or any of that. Like, you're petrified. They sneeze and you go, oh shit, is she cool? He all right? Like, now to take it to what y'all was saying about taking it to your childhood and all of that. Because this came up on the podcast, I'll bring it up. This is about, shout out to the BTG podcast. My guys, it's supposed to be getting on the network soon. Face was talking about on their show how he was saying it, but they weren't catching it. And I caught it because I listened to their show every week. The way that he grew up, he's realizing now as he matured and got older that this was not the right way, that things were things were off. Now his whole world is shattered mentally as far as that goes, because that was always the way he thought. Like, that's what he saw, that's what he knew. It took him to hit his 30s to go like, oh shit, maybe that was the wrong way. And now what the hell am I supposed to do about life? I brought that up to say, like Smooth was saying, you can't blame your whole life and your whole situation on some shit that happened 20 years ago. If you want to continue to focus on the shit that happened 20 years ago, that means you never evolved, you never grew, you never matured from it. Some people look at those things and say, this is a learning experience and I have to do better for my kids than my mom or my grandmom did for their situation. Yeah, everybody gonna try to do their best, but some people's best is just not gonna be good enough. And we gotta accept that. And that goes like to the shit me and Sonny was talking about the judgments. Everybody's best ain't gonna be good enough. Some shit, it might be best for him to be with your aunt. It might be best for them to be with your grandma, because you're not at that place. You didn't arrive here mentally to the point where you got it and you got over the shit that happened to you. And you're now going, I'm not going to put my family in that situation. I'm going to turn this shit completely around because I know that I'm missing shit in me personally that I don't want my kids to be missing when they get to be 25, 35, 45.
And that's a level of evolution within itself. That's a level
Copy.
of, you know what I mean? Like, some of us have to get personal. I had to give credit to my daughter's mom at the end of the day. We was joint custody, so we split in time at the time, but she realized within, she was having another child, whatever. Maybe it's best for this moment that the baby come stay with you, because that our daughter come stay with me, because she got to sort that situation out. Now, I don't know if we would have made that same decision 3 years ago, but we had to evolve as parents and as people first, then as parents, to be able to come to that understanding. To come to that.
I think that's a hard thing for moms in particular. I knew a mom who was going through a rough patch, and they didn't want, like, the option could have been your child could have been taken or leaving with family. Like, that's how it was getting to that situation where that at that point she was so in the midst of what she was going through that she couldn't make it through. So, like, listen, go get your shit together. And the family took the reins and did what needed to be done for however period of time it was. And the conversation was like, how is this going to look on the outside? It doesn't matter. You're doing what's best for your child. Sometimes what's best for your child is not you at that particular moment. And the best thing you can
That's
do
it.
is not keep putting them in the situation that they don't need to be in, and let them go be over here. And while you get your cross your teeth and dot your I's, that person, that child is good over here. And that's the thing as a mom, like, I think it's harder for us because some of us, because I ain't gonna say all of us, because I know some moms that's not really great moms, and are selfish. But for the ones that, like, sometimes you have to step outside of yourself and not worry about how it looks and do what's best for the child. And like, as moms, it's harder for us to let go of our child, some of us, and give them somebody else, even though we know we need the help. And that's the thing. Like, it's okay to get help, but I think that's an issue too, because that's why you see a lot of parents, at least in our era, that still had their kids, shouldn't have had their kids, and now their kids are fucked up now because of the life. Like, they were busy raising the mom while the mom was out doing whatever. So, yeah. And that could be a generational curse. I've seen that with families where the kids are raising the parents or being the parents to the parents, and it's like,
right.
When are we going to stop that?
So this is the thing for me is I'm going to jump on G. Griffin's comment, and what he says, we have to learn to be the change we want to see. And it kind of goes along with Smooth was saying earlier about growing and maturing from the stuff you go through. Is that, there's enough information, there's enough things on TV, on social media, your friends, your other people that you see out there, what they're going through. There's enough examples out there for you to see that there's an opportunity for growth, or there's an opportunity for change, and that you don't have to continue to perpetuate and flow down this river of dysfunction. You know what I mean? Because at some point or another, the generational curses that befall your family have to come to an end. At least they should. And if you wanna see that change, you do sometimes have to be that change. A lot of times you have to be that change. I was just talking to some family members of mine recently. We were talking about, somebody needs to do a family reunion because most of our kids don't know each other. We grew up together under one roof, and half our children have no clue who their family is. But that's the thing. We can't keep waiting on somebody else to do it. We got to do it. Yeah,
I mean? That's our family too.
Yeah.
Both sides.
So I think that's the biggest thing, is that sometimes you have to take a step up and say, what,
bro,
I'm tired of my family being, full of non-professionals and criminals, or I'm tired of my family having, being below the poverty line, or I'm tired of my family being undereducated, or I'm tired of whatever the case may be. I'm tired of like the little girl it was a joke video, but like, I'm tired of seeing my family members getting hit upside the head with frying pans. Whatever it takes, get ahead of it and become that change. Go ahead, Hype.
Like you just said that, my aunt, we used to have family reunions every year. This is again back in the day when it was taking a village. My aunt was my mom's oldest sister. She was like the first of the 10 kids. And she would call everybody, cuss everybody out, make everybody show up at the lakes for the family reunion every summer. She dies, it gets a little inconsistent. Now it's every other year and all that type shit. A couple years ago, somebody dies, and you know how funerals work. Oh, we got to get together. We got to do better. My son, you look at him, he's this big. My daughter's this big. They don't even know each other. So I took it upon myself. My cousin that got the big house, I call him, yo, we do a family reunion on such and such date. All right, yeah, that'll work. Call everybody and just say, yo, Willie, you bring in the hot dogs. Sonny, you bring in the buns. Dame, you got the ribs. Like, start passing shit off to everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're showing the fuck up, you come with the shit, and we can all have a beautiful situation. You don't show up with this shit, the shit gonna be fucked up. I did that 2 years in a row. Now they come to year 3. Hey, Hype, so when you doing? No, Hype did that to show y'all. Exactly. Just because Hype was, of course, getting the short end of the stick, because now, we need 6 joints of charcoal and 6 more slabs of ribs. Hey, Hype, since you on your way, and we know you're going to cook this shit for the next 12 hours. Like, how did I get roped into this? And I'm bringing 5 people? I'm like, nah, the blueprint was there as far as this is what we all know. Mm-hmm. And this is how all of us grew up in a tight-knit situation. Is 2 of us in this block, is around the corner, down the street, and all of that. That's how everybody got to grow up together. But again, like I said, we went from it takes a village to raise these families to everybody's in a pod raising a family. Now everybody in social distance, they family before that was even a thing is I'm gonna do I'm gonna raise them how I want to raise them, which is perfectly fine. They're your kids. don't ask. You ain't got to explain like how you would do whatever you do with your kids, because they're yours.
Right.
But like Sonny was saying, as far as giving them kids up, like that is a very mature response. But that's one thing you have to realize: once you have them kids, it is about them. They didn't ask to be here. You
Exactly.
decided to have them. So you have to now make your situation all about what's best for them. You got to put your pride to the side as far as I never wanted to work at McDonald's. Nigga, if that's how you keeping the lights on, get your ass in there and make them goddamn Big
Get
Macs.
them burgers, man.
Right.
If my aunt is a stable situation and you know you just can't get your shit together, you better send them with your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, or whoever the fuck has the better situation for them. Because it's not about you don't want to look bad in front of everybody. It's about this is the best opportunity for them to succeed.
Yeah. I got a question, and this goes along with the generational curses upon family. What do you think about, like, we all got that? Well, I don't say we all, but some of us know a family that got somebody that been touching kids for forever, and none of the family members said nothing, and they just continue doing that. What do y'all think about that? Because it's deemed as acceptable because nobody's really, you know, what goes in this house stays in this house, or what goes on in the family stays in the family.
Are you saying, do we think it's still happening, or what's the question? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Well, I'm pretty sure it still happened, but like, what do you think about, like, how will we break that?
Oh, got you.
Or like how, like, at what point does that? I mean, it definitely needs to stop, but like, how do you, like y'all thoughts?
I'm the cousin or the uncle that you calling that's blowing up the whole spot. We not sweeping none of that type shit under the rug. Like in my family, we haven't had any of them situations where it's like, you know, Uncle such and such is no, because we can't do that. The moment that I feel as though anybody who is like under my watch is not in the safest environment possible, we got a problem. What the fuck is going on around here? Like, we not coming. There ain't no family reunions at your crib, Unc. If you know what I'm saying, it was the time back in '93 when this little niece didn't feel comfortable because you said did or nah, we can't have that type shit going on. People can't be scared to say shit just because that's your uncle. Like, wrong is wrong, especially if you're talking some touching kids type shit. Like, no, we ain't doing that ever.
Yeah.
Did you have a comment?
I'm thinking how I want to phrase this because I don't want to make sure everybody stays safe when I say this. Somebody confided in me that this person touched them when they were younger. I'm like, oh, as a grown man now, I see this person approaching somebody else. I'm thinking, how should I react to this person trying to reach his hand out to meet me? I'm like, how you doing? I did not touch his hand, didn't shake it. Just say, how you doing? From a distance, because I'm not sure what I would do. Because this person is very special to me, and I don't want them to think I'm befriending the person that they were touched by when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And watching my kids, making sure they don't go there. Just, oh no, you stay on my side.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that don't stay quiet with me. I'm like, if I see something weird, I will say or do something. But since I didn't see it, even though I'm getting a reliable source that it's happened, I need to see, or just staying away from that person is just the best thing I can do right now.
So I think that's the thing, though. I think that's to Anwar's point about, is it okay to air the dirty laundry in our family? And
absolutely.
I think that's the question is are we just doing the let's dance around this person move,
or protect
or
the family name? Yeah,
this issue? And I think that's where Sonny's coming up from is where do we really stop it? Because just skirting around the issue and doing the dance with that person, it's not enough. It's definitely not enough, because I think that a lot of times we're so afraid to confront this. It's a demon, right? I mean, this is literally a demon for people. Something that affects you not only when you were younger, all the way through your adulthood,
your entire life. Yeah,
the way you function in life, the jobs you take, the way you raise your family. You know, it could be ups, downs, in betweens, everything like that. And I think that's the problem, is that we do a lot of skirting and avoidance and all that kind of stuff. And we're never confronting, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of times people realize that once they do confront these issues, then they heal better. They heal faster. You know, so suffering in silence, I think, is where we need to end it. We need to end the suffering in silence and being and
making that person a victim
with saying, "Oh, that's the uncle you want to stay away from. Keep your kids close to you."
Bro, if you don't, and you continue to sweep shit under the rug, eventually we're gonna start to trip under all of this shit that's under this rug. Like, and eventually we're not going to be able to make it over these hurdles. Like, eventually there's too much shit under this rug. Mm-hmm. So you can't be like, we don't want to shame the family name. No, we don't want you fucking up. You already fucked up one individual. We don't need you to, that's what I'm saying. We don't need you to fuck up 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, we don't need this to become a repetitive thing. Whereas like now the kids are unsafe. Like, your whole family feels weird about this situation because it's 4 or 5 of them saying, yo, Uncle such and such did this nut shit. Like, no, you can't sweep that shit under the rug. You got to say, look, Uncle, you are no longer a part of the family. Like, fuck off. Like, we cool.
And that was the thing. And that was the thing.
The only reason we didn't do nothing to you is because you are Uncle such and such. Like,
yeah. And I feel like it sends the wrong message, whether if it's as a parent, my significant other, you get the families where they blame the kids, or it seems it gives an impression that you're protecting the predator versus the person that was preyed upon. And it's like, how do you feel safe with family and like being around these people? And it's like, this is it's acceptable, and for them, for the predator, it's acceptable. So let me keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't no consequences.
Anyway.
Right, there's no consequence. I mean, to G. Griffin's point, he said that I think we should normalize putting these people on blast without fear of retaliation, and not only just putting them on blast. I mean, I understand his family, but they need to go to jail if they're doing things to children or even adults, whatever the case may be. They need to suffer in reality, not suffering, not just be blackballed, not just be, we're not going to deal with
push to this,
like, you need to bring up charges, or you need to make sure, like, if it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, 2 generations ago allowed this to happen, and we're 20, 30, 40 years out, but we still stay away from this person. Everybody needs to know why we stay away from
whether it's Aunt Keisha, whether it's somebody.
Exactly, because I know for a fact that there was a person in my family that it was like all you were ever told was, don't let the kids go upstairs and talk to blah blah blah, and it was just like, why, and what was the problem? And nobody ever elaborated, you know what I mean? And it was this wink wink nod nod between the adults, and it's like, no, we need enough. Enough is enough with these wink wink nod nods. We need real viable conversations.
Because I found out when it happened. So basically, it happened to me with a family member, and I didn't find out till well after that he had been doing that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? And like when I tried to speak up and go to police, it was a big issue, like fighting people and like literally fist fighting people because they were mad because that's their dad. And then come find out after I had my daughter, my came in the house, and she was like, yo, you remember you went through that with Uncle so-and-so? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, he did that to so-and-so and such and such. And I'm like, what? So like, apparently it was a family thing. Like, y'all knew about this. He been preying upon.
That's you protecting us. Family protecting them. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, I would never and I can say this. I know people never say never, but like, there's no way. If my daughter ever said anything to me or my niece or something about somebody in my family, ain't no way in hell.
Right.
And my daughter has spent the night at 0 people's house. My daughter 8. She spent the night at my brother's, my in-laws.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the family members thrown at thieves too, Keela.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just sexual abuse. It could be theft. It could be, you got the grand larcenists in your family. It could be
scam artists.
It could be physical abuse. You have those couples who go through the
and that's another thing. That was another question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, hold on one second, Sonny. that's another thing. You go through this situation where people are going through domestic abuse and everybody's hiding it. Again, the wink, wink, nod, nods, and a lot of the, you don't want to be around Uncle Jack when he's drinking, all that kind of stuff. And it's like we need to have these conversations. We need to be able to represent to our children what protection really looks like, what family really looks like, not just, we're just gonna stay away from this person and hope it goes away. Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead, son. What was your question?
No, my question would be the trickle down effect of bad parenting, kind of link it with that one. Staying in an unhealthy relationship where there's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you're being abused, and not only you, but the kids are too, and you stand in that situation, your kids are a part of it, witnessing it or whatever, and would that be considered a trickle down effects of bad parenting because you're in a situation that these kids are very much a part of, whether they may be getting abused or right along with you, or they happen to fight the other parent to protect you? The trickle down effects of that, because they, like I said, they get in relationships when they're later in life and they think that that's love because that's all they saw, and their ideal is, well, mom stayed or dad stayed because like that's what I'm used to. That's what I was taught love was, and it was acceptable. So that's another trickle down effect of bad parenting. Also understanding, because I don't want to dismiss it, but we understand that it's hard to get out of us to do it. Some people feel like it's harder to exit out of those situations, but I feel like at some point it has to be not you, it's about the kids, because now they're being affected.
This is the thing about those situations. Most people will be like, the kids don't know what's going on because they're so young and they don't realize what's going on. But if you're normalizing arguments, like you said, abuse, that becomes normalized to them if they're 2, if they're 3, if they're 4. And like one of my friends, like, man, he got a couple domestics, and he like, my dad fucked me up because I watched him fuck my mom up so many times that was just normal.
Yeah.
So once he got to have his own situation, that's what the fuck he did because it was normalized. Whatever you do in front of them, if you always say fuck in front of them, guess what they gonna go to school and do? If you as a mom allowed yourself to be in an abusive situation, your daughter is probably going to do the same thing, or your son may do the same thing. Like, you cannot think that they are not perceptive because they are babies. Like, you have to be paying attention, and it's always like I said from the beginning, it always goes back to what is the best decision for them. If you recognize that this shit is toxic as hell in here, I don't want my babies to grow up to be toxic people who create more toxic people who create more toxic people, because this is all we've been shown. All we've been shown is the fucked up situation. And the cycle never ends. Like, if you don't break the chain. Yeah, like you said, Sonny, it's hard to leave out of them situations because you might have been with this nigga since you was 15. Now you're 38. Like, and you knew. Y'all raised each other damn near. Like, but you have to realize, like, this has to stop because it's about them and it's not about what's comfortable for me.
Right. Yeah. A couple of comments came in. Keela was saying, well, one of the comments she made was, we talked about,
again, shout out to Facebook, probably.
So that's good. That, she's definitely seeing some progress in her family where they're actually talking about those things. She said, I think this was in response to Sonny's question. She was saying, imagine being that the family that still loves you and can break bread with you, even though you messed up. I guess she was saying you messed up the family like that. So, and I think that's the thing, is that I think a lot of people have that in their families where there's, people trying to hold on to these bonds regardless of the trauma that the bond is creating. And this is something I know we've talked about in the past. I think Joy brought this up in terms of the trauma bonds and the things that keep people kind of basically together, but in the dysfunction, is those types of things. Jasmine said that she has a family member that's decided to stay with, I don't know if this is a violent family member or if this is a sexual assault family member, but she said that the whole family knows to keep the kids away from him and keep a constant eye on him. And I mean, I think we
That's
all
sad.
have that, sad state of things where people are, like, oh, don't let your kids go around this person, or don't let them be around them, that kind of thing. And and it's and I mean, and that's fine to tell them that, but the thing is too is tell them why. Let's make sure we're understanding what's going on in our family. Let's understand what's happening, and like I said, hold people accountable whenever possible. Because that's the thing, is that these people are getting away with it. Like you were saying earlier, Sonny, is that they're getting away with it and thinking that it's okay because they're being allowed to do it over and over and over again. They're just repeat offenders. G. Griffin says love doesn't hurt, and we as individuals have to know the difference and choose not to continue to take part in that. And I think that's what the disconnect is for people, is that they see that hurt and they see that pain, but people stay around for love, and they don't recognize the difference, and they don't recognize that there should not have to be pain and anger and dysfunction in love.
But that's because some people only seen fucked up love. They only seen
Yeah.
abuse and thought it was love. Some people don't know what love is. Some people's perception of love is some fucked up shit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Smooth, did you have a point?
nah, Smooth ain't back yet.
Oh, okay. So, and then Keela says, so love and communication builds a bond that brings a truth about what it is we do wrong and how to change or get help. Yeah, definitely love and real love and communication, legit love and communication. And I think part, and I don't know if this is really a true statement, but I know it's a consistent statement that we hear all the time, is that Black families forgive, right? We forgive a lot. We forgive a lot of things. We forgive murder. We forgive molestation. We forgive thievery. We forget. It's so much we forgive, right? And I think that the effects of that forgiveness gets extended in the wrong way sometimes, where we don't realize that forgiveness doesn't mean you just allow this person to continue to do these things to you, or that you just allow these actions to keep perpetuating and to keep spreading. Because that's the thing. If great uncle such and such molested your auntie, and then your auntie molested your cousin, and then your cousin molested you, you're going to end up molesting somebody. It just continues to trickle down. It continues to go from generation to generation to generation, and unless you're stopping the trend, or somebody's doing something to hold that person accountable, it's just going to continue and it's going to spread. So that love and that communication has to be there. It has to be done in order to allow. We got to show love for the next generation. That's basically what we're saying.
Dame trying to get in there. Dame's trying to get in.
Maybe if I unmute myself. Yeah, I was going to say, your mic's muted. I was going to say that, but sometimes families, such as mine, we forgive the big stuff, but hold on to pettiness to divide the family.
You ain't said nothing. It ain't just yours.
I'm like, but Uncle Ray Ray stabbed Auntie Brenda. What are you doing?
No, nigga, but you ate the last burger that day that had cheese on it.
Exactly.
Listen,
that was a corner piece of the brownies.
You have a bunch. Listen,
that's the good side where it get hard. You keep the walnut right in there, man. That's the good piece. Now you know better than that.
It's another thing that I think trickling down. I think is a bad parent effect, and it's lack of motivation and doing for self.
Right.
You were so dependent on your mom did everything for you, so you did everything for your kids. So when they out there in real life, they can't do for themselves. They constantly keep screwing up. They can't take care of themselves. They got a place for a couple of months, and then they back living with you. Like we gotta get like, and as just certain things that just like I said, I know I'm not the best parent. I know I'm not. But I know. As far as my daughter being, if I drop dead tomorrow, I think my kids would be all right. Because they not so reliant on me that they can't take care of themselves, that they will be locked. I mean, they're devastated by me going. Hopefully, Zari's been plotting on my house, already telling me to move out now. But but I know that if I was to go, they'd be good, and she'd know how to take care of her brother until he was able, and she would raise him the same way to take care of himself. And I think that not raising your kids to be reliant or self-sufficient is a generational curse of its own, because you got a bunch of kids that don't know how to do shit for themselves.
Right.
The people that you're talking about grow up to be the worst adults. The people who was either coddled or just flat out spoiled. Like, I tell my daughter no sometimes, just because it's not even about the $50, $60 for whatever it is that you want. It's about you understanding that the world doesn't owe you shit. When you somebody who's never been told no, you grow up feeling like the world owes you shit. Like, everybody should be kissing your ass. Everybody should be capitulating to what it is that you want to do, because that's the way your life is always going. Like you said, you get an apartment and then 2 months later, oh, well, I never paid the rent. The fuck you mean you didn't pay the rent? Like, how did you plan on staying there?
Right.
Like, those are the worst kind of people.
And they think that, oh, the landlord should understand that, man, my job. No, the landlord doesn't care about that.
Nobody cares about your job. You lost your job. Nobody. This is a bill needs to be paid. Homelessness. This can happen.
Pretty much. At this point, you're gonna choose a bill: lights, gas, or have your home. That's it.
I've seen niggas pick Miami over electric and gas plenty of days.
I done seen people ball out for Christmas and don't have water for the whole rest of the year. Like, you
don't get started on the proms now.
Priorities.
Niggas got a Maserati outside.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
I'm sorry. Lack of priorities is a generational curse.
Oh, I see a Miami Beach trip versus going back and forth to work the next week. I got bought $20 for gas.
Niggas got a Maserati outside for the prom. And I know you just got a couple dollars for
we had a podcast for that, G, about raising a generation of entitled kids.
Yeah, indeed.
My kids are not entitled. They got to earn everything they got.
I'm busting my ass for this shit. You think you gonna just sit here and stick your hand out?
Listen, I told my daughter, she like, I don't go to school. She got 2 jobs. I don't raise unproductive people. Listen, my son don't even sit home in the summer and do nothing. He got the programs.
It's smooth in the Matrix.
Friday, he started another one Saturday today.
My man trying to get his joint. He trying to get his joint right.
My bad, though.
His priorities are in order. He got bills.
I know he got his priorities in order. He over there making that money.
Yes. I'm sorry. I think I wanted to add on that. Can y'all hear me clear?
Yeah.
We really talk about. I don't know if anybody mentioned it, but we normalize dysfunction in our community. So exactly like the point y'all just making about priorities. We'll normalize looking good over being good.
Yes.
So that's the high point. A motherfucker will go to Miami instead of making sure all his bills and everything in order. You understand? And that's a trickle down effect. That goes down to the kids. That's how, like you said, the sense of entitlement. They think the world owes them something. They think, like Dane was saying, well, the rent. My dad used to say, the rent man got bills too. You feel me? So the cops drive by. But
be safe. Look safe. Look safe.
Keep your head on the swivel.
At the end of the day, I think we just normalize dysfunction. I don't know if y'all touched on the lack of financial literacy within the family.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
I think that's everybody actually.
But I say it's a generational curse because we're not taught. Our family, we was taught to be spenders. We was taught to be consumers instead of builders.
To be a worker, not a boss, though.
Exactly.
Your whole life is programmed for you to get a job, not have a career, and your whole life is designed for you to get yourself in debt and try to climb out of that debt for the rest of your life, not to own some shit and to build it on your own.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, I'm turning this into the how to hustle empire.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Shan, in terms of curing generational trauma, in terms of You know, one big point is be the change. Be the change you want to see. Take it upon yourself to start pushing those agendas that you want to see change in your families. Also recognizing the issues. We've been bringing up a bunch of different examples, and the reason why those examples are here from you know, sexual abuse, covering up sexual abuse, hiding it, ignoring it, physical or marital abuse and domestic violence, just accepting it and allowing your children to see that cycle of abuse evolve into something that they believe is normal, normalizing that, like Smooth was just talking about, normalizing dysfunction, any kind of dysfunction, pettiness, being you know, not helping your family be a cohesive unit, taking you know, not taking the steps that are necessary to build the family versus destroy the family. So there's a lot of different things that you have to recognize and realize needs to be changed before you can even begin to change them. If you normalize these things and you're not looking out to realize what growth looks like, if you're not taking the time to take a look at, I mean, there's plenty of examples. I mean, we got memes now, we got TV shows talking about, you know, how to get over different types of generational curses and issues that we see in our families. We have, you know, the self-help stuff. We know deep down in our core that we have dysfunction either in our families, in ourselves, or in our communities. And we have to not only recognize that, but then take steps to improve it. So taking that growth and moving forward is what's important. Or taking that recognition and growing and then moving it forward is what's important.
And also, if I could add on to that, Willie, that's a great point. Don't trade in one trauma for another, because I see that happens a lot too.
All right, stay down there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I noticed, like y'all, I heard y'all speaking about how the family not close knit. Hype said pods. We living in pods. We raising our family in pods. There's no unity. So sometimes what we'll do if we have an issue, or you know, I hear a lot of people say they don't like their family or they don't like their cousins or what have you. Like, we got to get to the root to the root of that issue. A friend of mine had posted on social media the other day, I can never say I don't love my cousins. But I hear a lot of people say that. That was the point he was trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we something happened to us within the family. You'll have an issue with such and such or so, and then you'll take it out on the whole family.
Right.
And now your kids suffer because why? Like y'all mentioned, now they don't know who their family is.
Right. Indeed.
You feel me? And that's basically trading one trauma to another, imparting your trauma onto your kids, creating a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
And the problem with these broken up family situations is, I almost knocked one of my cousins off in high school because I didn't know she was my cousin.
Wow.
Her dad went to jail, and she got jumped at school, and she said, "Yo, you got a phone? I need to call my cousins such and such." Hold up, it's not 4 people in South Philly with them names. Like, I go home, ask my mom, "You talking about this one's daughter, granddaughter?" "Oh yeah, all that." Good thing I ain't hit.
Good thing, right, exactly. Good thing you didn't move forward with that. So Shan brings up a good point. She says, "Do you think curing trauma is harder than curses?" So looking at from the standpoint of what is the difference between a generational curse versus, you know, this familial trauma, either, you know, from other family members or from your parents, you know, what's the difference between the two? I guess that's the first thing we got to recognize is what's the difference between that trauma and a curse.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Because we keep talking about generational curses, but what we also tend to forget is, well, like we mentioned earlier, when we raise kids, we know all our kids are different. Like, I was on the show with Hunt the other day. I told him I got 8 brothers and sisters. We all different. We all have different personalities. So what may be a curse for one may not affect another. or one may not perceive it as that way. So like how do we define what's a family generational curse?
Right.
First of all,
That's
Yeah.
why I
we
would have
gotta
picked the
define that.
trauma.
Well,
Curses
I don't
are
know.
easy to break. Trauma is some shit that's like it's traumatic. That's why it's called trauma. Like it's something that's gonna always fuck with you and those around you who were affected by the shit that happened.
yeah.
I don't know because if you have alcoholism runs in your family, that's something that you have to fight hard to break as well.
So are you saying that's a curse versus a trauma?
Yeah, because something that can be brought, uh, I guess in your family that runs your bloodline that you can easily fall into can be a curse with himself.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to basically say too. I think either a generational or familial curse would be something that it like you said, Smooth. It doesn't have to affect you, but in general, it's something that can affect you because it's something that is continually happening in your family. Like you see alcoholism, drug use, people being thieves, people having issues with what they say with the now curses can create traumas, right? Like sex abuse. I believe sex abuse is a familial curse, but it causes trauma, right? You get affected by it when you're directly affected, but in terms of the family as a whole, it affects the entire family from a curse standpoint. But in terms of the trauma, it only affects the people who it directly happens to, right? Or the people who are indirectly affected by when it happens to somebody. Like if it's my kid, it's going to indirectly affect me, right? But if it's like me and Hank are brothers, and I'm like, Hank, this happened to my kid. It's bad to him. He's like, he feels bad, but it doesn't affect him. It doesn't traumatize him. It doesn't traumatize his kids, but it affects my kid directly, right? So I think
I would say I disagree with that.
I'm sorry.
I would say I disagree with that because now once you find out, like it's like with the breaking glass moment, once you find out that that's out there in your family, even though we're brothers, it would be like, well, damn, now I can't, when I have my own kids and I have my own family, now that's always in the back of my mind.
But are you traumatized by it the way the person that was directly affected by it?
You couldn't possibly be, as even a parent, be traumatized the same as the child it happened to.
Exactly. That's
because
what I mean.
It didn't
That's
happen
what I mean
to you.
in terms of the difference between a trauma and the curse. That's why I say it's a curse, right? Because you're like, this could happen to my kid. Like Dane was saying, if
that's why I said that would be more so traumatic.
Curse, it's not. It doesn't mean that you have to be an alcoholic, but it could be in the back of your mind. You could be like, I don't really want to take a drink all the time because my uncle was an alcoholic and my mom was an alcoholic and my dad was an alcoholic. I don't want to fall into that because you know that runs in the family or that's around your family.
Yeah, and that's funny that you said that.
That's why I would say that.
Yeah, but like if you know my nephew got fucked by my uncle, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna affect when I have kids about me letting them go play in at this one house and that one house. And it's like your best friend crossed the street, but it's like I gotta really know his dad or really know who the mom and what's going on over there, because that's gonna always be a traumatic thing for you too, where it's like it's affecting the rest of your life's decisions. Because once that glass is broken, it's shattered forever.
I guess from that standpoint, I guess from that standpoint.
That's why I said the trauma would be more.
Yes, an indirect trauma. So I guess
that's the question.
So does that mean that the curse is harder to break than the trauma then, or vice versa? Like which one?
Nah, I think it's the trauma personally.
Yeah, the trauma will be harder.
I think it depends on the individual.
Yeah, the trauma will be harder because that's relived over and over again.
That's a daily situation.
To bring that back up to you, and it could be something so small and so random that even your response from that little thing can be traumatic.
Right.
Well, it could have been a bag of Doritos on the table when that shit happened.
Go ahead, Smooth.
I think trauma is more personal. Like I discussed on the podcast with Hank yesterday, my grandfather was murdered, my mother's father. That trauma she had to deal with, that pain she had to deal with. So guess who's her only child at the time, who becomes the oldest? Guess who has to go through that with her? Me. So that trauma trickles down as more of a personal. Now, family curse to me is more like poverty. You mentioned addiction, health issues.
Mm-hmm.
To me, those are family curses. How we eat and stuff like that. Trauma to me is more direct. So when you talk about trauma, you talk about child molestation. You talk about death, stuff like that. You know, I've been to more funerals before the age of 10. I've been to more funerals than some people have been in their whole life. You understand? That affects me. That's trauma. That's not necessarily a family curse. You understand?
Right.
I don't know if I make my point clear.
No,
Yeah,
you're
you are.
very clear, very clear.
Nah,
No,
yeah.
very clear. Yeah, and I
Just-
definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that because I think that, and that's what I was saying is that I think the trauma is always going to be something that's directly affecting you, and it doesn't, and even trauma, even some traumas. I mean, some trauma or some things that are traumatic to us may affect us in different ways than other people as well, right? Because you see it all the time, right? You know, you may have something where it's like, oh, you know, such and such got maybe domestic violence. Let's say they, as a kid, they were beat by their parent, right? You know, that trauma to them may cause them to be a more loving parent versus somebody else who may have that happen to them and they become a more violent parent, right? You know, so everybody's trauma is different as well, you know, because it directly affects them and it may directly affect them in different ways. So I think that definitely makes it harder for a trauma to be cured than a curse to be broken. Because I think from a curse standpoint, I think we can all look at things let's take a step back and see what we can do collectively to either diminish this, stop it, or at least lighten it, right? You know, we can diminish, you know, sexual abuse by outing these people and making it harder for them to repeat, seeking healthier options if obesity is a curse in our family. Addiction, let's keep our eyes open and ears peeled for people who have susceptibility to these things and help people go to rehab, you know, stuff like that. So there's opportunities, I think, versus where with traumas, it's always that person, one has to accept that trauma is affecting them. That person has to seek the proper assistance and help to get through it. Also, their mindset has to be proper for it to work. You know what I mean? There's so many variables, I think, that make it even more challenging.
Yeah, and even if, like I said, back to what I said a little while ago, even if you do all that, you get help, you do all the things, it's traumatic because any little thing can make you go back to that, go back to that mindset. Mm-hmm. And it could be the smallest, most randomest thing that you don't know about. Like I know my dad was a heavy alcoholic along with substance abuse user. So I know when I get upset and I'm really in my head about things, I try not to drink as much. Like I won't, like it's periods of time where I want to drink and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to drink because I'm really going through it. And I don't want that to be my coping mechanism to get me through it, because then that becomes a habit and a problem. And then, you know, because alcoholism is real with them on my dad's side, it's just like you can't sign up for that because you may not come out of it. But I think it's just one of those things. Like I said, I think trauma is definitely harder than curses. It definitely is, because you relive that.
The curse situation is like it's all in your perception, because to me, the way that it's my perception of the perception is the person who sees that their parents was on drugs. Like I said, the 12-year-old taking care of the 4 and the 8-year-old. He or she is looking at their mom going, I'm never going to do this shit to my family because I see how hard this shit is on me to have to be the adult in the room at 12. Mm-hmm. So I'm never going to go that route. The family curse about we got bad heart disease and obesity. So the one who says I'm going to go plant-based on them when I'm 16, I'm going to switch it completely up from eating racks of ribs and shit to, you know, gearing it toward more healthy. That gets you out of that same cycle. Like, it's all in the perception of, do you recognize this cycle and do you say, I'm the one that's breaking this chain? Or are you just going, well, fuck it, we just, you know, we gonna keep going like we've been going because that's just what we do.
Right. I mean, that can make a generation.
And one person.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just about to ask all y'all, can one person break a generational curse?
Right. I was just about I was about
Absolutely.
to comment. Yeah, I was about to say, you know, I think that's the one challenge is I think that it's if you're truly going to break a family curse or a generational curse, I think it has to be a collective effort, because other than that, you're just one person who's, like Pike was saying, it's your perception, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to go plant-based. So, you know, I'm going to break this family curse of being unhealthy. But if it's only
everything
just
always starts with one of us, though.
If your cousin all your cousins, all 23 of your other cousins are still out there eating racks of ribs and stuffing, you know, are getting diabetes because they can't stop eating desserts, and then they're giving it to their kids, and it just keeps trickling down with the curse is still there, you know, just because you did right.
This is why I would say, though, it takes one person to show you something different, though.
Yeah,
it has to be somebody that shows you something different.
That still becomes a collective effort, though, right? Everybody has to accept it. Everybody has to say, "Oh, you know what? This seems to be the way to go," or "This seems to be the right choice for us as a family to go in this direction." And then
that's where I was going with it. It starts off with, I'm making this decision, and now my family is getting raised like this. And then, like you said, we got 23 cousins. One of them will go, "Let me taste it. Let me get a piece of this shit." And that's how you get that one. And now that one goes to his pod and says, "All right, yo, look, we're switching this around." And it starts like it's a snowball effect. People are going to look at anything that you do that's an extreme change from what the family has been doing as, he ain't gonna stick to that shit. She ain't gonna really be on that. That's just some shit that they doing right now. It's just a fad. It's just a phase. My uncle went vegetarian on him in 1974 or 76 or some shit. My uncle has had a vegetarian spot since 1987, I believe. Like, it's the wave now with the Beyond shit and all of that. But my uncle been doing that because that been his way. I had been tasting all that kind of shit, you know. But my other uncle, another one of my uncles, he went that route with his brother. Like, it happens that way. Like, it takes one person though to start this shit.
Yeah, my sister did that with our family. It was within the grandkids. She was the first one to go away to college, like actually go away, packed her up and went to college. And it's funny because, you know, that the joke is my mom's side of the family, my mom's kids thought we were better than the rest of our cousins, because after that, like, you know, my brother did whatever he was doing. I went away I didn't go away to college, but I went to college. And then, like, our youngest sister went to college. My sister Jazz did too. Nikki actually graduated. Like, my sister graduated with 2 degrees, and like the rest of us got our own little stool. We were still in school, but the fact that we went beyond just a high school degree, and even that stepping stone to where our kids went away. Like, my daughter just went to college last year. She decided it's not for her. That's perfectly fine. I don't do unproductive, so you got to do something. She's done something. My niece is still going, as far as I know, going back to school as well. So it's that the small things of doing things. Like my grandma owned her home. None of her grandkids or kids owned a home. My sister Jazz bought her house a year after my mom passed, or I think it was in the year my mom passed, or right after, shortly. Right. I just bought my house. So we're teaching our kids that, listen, be homeowners. And, you know, we talk to them about stocks. We talk to them about saving their money and stuff. And that's the thing of, let's not always, and that was the thing, let's work. Let's not stay on public assistance or make public assistance work to what we need it to be to get where we are. Because for my journey of working, I worked here and there and there. But then I went through a welfare work program and got my job that I've been at since then. So, and I've been there years in it, and not relied on public assistance. Not that it's not great. I miss it dearly because I got to pay the bills. But that was my
shout out the food stamps, man.
I spent $200 easy in the store, but like, that's the
$200. All you got is the 2 for $5 chips and a pack of wings.
You know what? That was our thing of not getting stuck in a system that was set up for us to fail and moving forward.
Right.
And doing something with ourselves. So like, if that's the mindset, like where our one cousin, she go with the college, she doing what she got to do. And it's great to see her, because she was one of the babies of the family not too long ago. And now she's all in school doing what she got to do. And everybody proud of her, because it'd be like, you know, you did something with yourself.
Yeah. So Quay XC93 also said that one person can break a generational curse. It just takes a determined and strong-willed individual. So
Exactly.
definitely takes strong will and determination to convince your entire family, let's move in this different direction and do something more productive with our family. I'm sorry, Shannon, we'll have to get to your other question later if we have some time. I wanted to hurry up and get to this final topic. This would be our after show topic instead of what I was planning. We'll do that one later. Here it is. So can you successfully assist in raising a family member's child or a non-bio kid from a failed relationship? And I know we all kind of talked about this in a post show.
What's the age?
Just it doesn't matter. Whatever you
Y'all can hear me? Y'all breaking out.
Yeah, whatever
It do
you feel like
matter.
works for you, or
That.
if you have a great example of when it has worked.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
You good, Smooth?
You yelling at us, but we heard you.
He can't hear us. I would say the age matters because like the older they are, the harder they're gonna be to capitulate. Once you hit the age of influence, they get to 15 capitulate. Once they hit like 15, 16, 17, like Sonny just was saying about her daughter, she's 19, and you gotta adjust that tone because they think they super grown. So at them stages, it's harder to get them to like, yo, look, we eat dinner at 7:00 here. We don't just run out the door and you get what you get. Like, we got the doors locked at 11, so you need to be in here. I don't give a fuck if your mom let you smoke cigarettes in the house. Like, we don't do that here. Like, so it's harder. It depending on that age. If you catch them while they younger and you get them from 8, and they'll just fall in line because this is what the fuck is going on here. This shit is not flying here. But if you get them at 16,
that
age matters.
Age definitely matters. Age definitely matters. And it depends on because if they're set in their ways, you feel me, and then you start, and your ways are completely different, then it's going to be an issue. So age definitely matters. I thought of this topic because I've been in that situation a couple times, and the issue I ran into was that woman. That's her child, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if she wants me to help her raise the child, I have to have some type of authority. You understand? But the issue arises if I chastise that child, now she feels some type of way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You understand? So
I didn't
now
I didn't know we was talking about going into a relationship with somebody with the child. I thought we were talking about bringing them into your established home. Totally different situation. Go ahead, Smooth.
I'm talking both ways though. That we talking all ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? From all perspectives. Just from my personal perspective, that's the issue I ran into. And then when it comes to mine, like bringing a woman in and I got my child, it's like I notice I tend to have the same issues as well. It's reverse now. I'm a little bit more protective. You feel me? So you say something to my child, and it may not be as offensive as I think it is, but the first thing that's going to go through my mind, and I'm still trying to learn on this, is, hold on, you're not her mom. You come to me. You feel me? If you have an issue, some type of issue, you come to me. I'll talk to her mom, and we can discuss that. But I don't need you out here. And I think, Willie, you remember we had this child. I mean, had this child. My goodness.
What the hell?
We had this conversation. We had this conversation about.
Find out.
About
Next time on
disciplining.
GFT Radio.
That is.
I was having sex with Willie.
But we had the topic about disciplining somebody else's child.
Right.
You feel me? So I think that's one of the big things that come into play in those type of situations. I just want to know like how y'all.
Right. So I want to go back to Sunny so she can make her point about age, and then then we'll roll down to Dame because I think Dame set up to make a point too. Go ahead, Sunny.
Yeah, I feel like
comfortable.
Here's why I say and not that it doesn't completely matter, but I just feel like it depends on the child. It depends on the type of child you're getting. You should know what child you're getting. If you around them, family member or otherwise, or dating that person. I'm talking from a family side. I'm not even talking about dating. I'm just talking about from a family side. If you taking somebody else's out of your family's kid, you know exactly what kid you got. And if you know them, then you can like I'm a big person of knowing how people are and knowing how to deal with you. Mm-hmm. So if that child is not that child, like, oh well, you know, it's going to be problematic, then you can deal with them at any age. Because you can get them at 8 and you're not their mom, you can't tell them shit and all that too. True. So or at 6, you know, kids talk a little. My niece is 4, and I'm pretty sure she'll tell you ain't her mom, you can't tell her what to do, and she's only 4. So for me, I don't think age matters. It's just on how you present yourselves. Now, in the dating aspect, I've dated people who've had kids. And I've had conversations with those kids because those kids came with their feelings, and they were younger than being a teenager, and they felt like I was replacing their mom. You know, they had their little moments and stuff like that. And I sat down and had like a real conversation with them because I don't talk to kids like they're kids. I talk to them like they're regular people. And I basically said, "Hi, I'm dating your dad. My name is so and so, and I'm not trying to take your mom's spot. That's not my job. My job is to
all you want.
Care for you." Like, I'm not your mom. I got my own. I had one at the time. I ain't trying to be nobody else's mother. But if you are around me, I would take care of you as if you were mine. That's all. Like, I'm not here to take nobody's spot flash. I don't want it. I'm just assisting.
Let's go to Dame. Dame, did you have a point?
Actually, I'm in that situation now. Me and my wife, we're actually raising my wife's great niece. It does come with a lot of hardships because she has issues. And it seems like we're not getting help from the state, but that's another story.
What's the age, if you don't mind me asking?
We got her at age 4. Okay. We started the process when she was 4, yeah. She's 8 now. It takes some doing because she has a lot of personal issues that we talked about on the show before. When we talk about foster kids and adoption, it's a lot of hard work raising somebody else's family, another family member's kid, because of neglect or personal issues they can't control. One of those traumas. Actually, I think is a curse. Actually, because bipolar schizophrenic is something you can't pass down. Or can you?
Listen, I'm gonna shut my mouth because my mom had paperwork. And,
right? Yeah.
So listen.
I don't know.
Listen.
But she has moments where I'm like, oh, let me lock my door at night. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. So yeah. And you guys know I'm notorious for raising a bunch of other people's kids.
23.
You said who?
You got 23, right?
No, he's still raising Dame.
I know. I'm still raising Dame, you know, from his mom.
And you and Clint got one on the way. So,
you know, my biggest thing has been, and to Sonny's point, sometimes age doesn't matter. It is the kid, because I had one of those. Of course, my situation is even more weird. Is that I actually raised my ex-girlfriend's son, or helped raise him. In terms of when he was in middle school through high school, he came to stay with me, and because his school was like terrible where he was at, and we lived in an area where we could get him to the school where my kids went, and their school was much better. So he every school year he lived with us, took care of him, and he's just like a son to me. And the thing is that even at the age that he was at, when I dated her, he was only like 2 or 3. So he barely, remembered that, of course, by the time he came to me at like 12 and, started middle school. So the biggest thing was just, working with him, doing things, just like any other family member in the house. And he was able to, fit right in, no issues. Part of that was familiarity in terms of we already had this relationship and our kids played together and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing too was just that, it's still a transition, right? It's still a transition to be able to go and live with other people and not be the familiarity of home. My oldest godson, same thing. I took him in high school, and he was a problem child to his mother, not a problem child to his dad. He was more just following his dad's lead. He was, tough in school, but every summer, every half the school year, he was with me, no issues, and was very successful with him. He's doing his own thing now, but and then all my stepchildren, who I consider my own kids because I raised them, from when they were really young. So I think it always does depend on the kid, but it also depends on you as a parent to be able to take that step back and try to either adjust to that kid or help that kid adjust to you in your situation. And then it's a two-way street, right? Everybody kind of has to be on board. It's a challenge. I mean, Shan, she said nope. She's notorious for not being with the bonus kids. She definitely tries her best to do what she can, but she definitely has ran into some issues, and so understandable. It's a
back in there.
Right? It's a big challenge to be able to take what is a already tough job and then apply it to somebody who's not your blood, right? And for some of us, it's easier. It's been I won't say it's been easy for me. It's definitely not been easy, but it's been something that I've been able to do and love blessing the children around me by doing it, saying, okay, you know what? You need help or you need advice, you need guidance, you need a place to stay, whatever the case may be, and doing that versus a person who may have ran into issues and challenges. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say Dame is going to be like, oh, I would never do this again, but I'm sure that he would definitely be cautious and conscious of what he's getting into if he ever got approached again by another family member that says, hey, I need a place for my kid to
Nope.
So it definitely I think depends on the whole package. Is the parents, the kid, and the situations.
Let me in here. Two different things that I got. One, salute to y'all for doing those different situations and raising those kids that's not yours. Because I know personally I couldn't do it. When I was out in the mix, if she got kids, like I might like you, but knowing that you got kids, that they somebody else's, this is gonna sign us up for a lifetime of unnecessary shit that I'm not looking to deal with. And I just couldn't put myself in that situation. And I couldn't put my kids in that situation for me to be the dude coming in drawn on the whole situation, because like you come in and it's like, who the fuck says something to my daughter, especially because I got girls. A dude say something to my daughters like I'm coming in and this is over. Like, now using myself as an example, my mom never gave me no curfew or no shit like that. Like she just wasn't gonna go to bed till I came in the house. So mom would be sitting right there on the couch. If we come in here at 2, she ain't gonna say nothing. Like we're 16, 17, she ain't gonna say nothing. Because she know we probably was only down the street on the block, just sitting around doing nothing. But I know I would always watch Fresh Prince and be like, that would be like me going to my cousin's crib over Delaware, where they gotta have all this structure and shit. Because out Delaware, you gotta have a car to get around and do any fucking thing. It ain't like the hood where you could just walk down the street and get the shit. So I always would be like, man, if I had to go with them niggas, like I know I'd have ran the fuck away, because it's like, what you mean we got to be in the house at what time? What you mean we got to do, huh? What? And like it wouldn't have worked for me. And the kids situation, like with my family, my cousin died and had 3 kids, and she told her kids in the hospital on her deathbed, y'all stay together. I think the kids was probably like, let's say like 10, 8, and 7, something like that. Now I come buy them all clothes. I'm getting soap. I can get you deodorant. I can get you everything. But I knew personally I couldn't put that burden on my wife to take 3 kids that wasn't ours and put them in the house with her, because I know the structure that they came from wasn't shit. And I knew that they was going to be a whole headache and a half for her because I know I'm gonna be the fuck at work trying to make sure I got enough money to take care of fucking 6 people now.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't put myself in them shoes.
I'm-
Like, salute to y'all for doing that shit.
Yeah, you definitely got.
I would like to say,
different kind of person. It definitely takes a different kind
I'm
of
not
person.
Uncle Phil.
Say it again, Smooth.
I was
You say he
saying
ain't
like
Uncle
I'm not
Phil.
Uncle Phil. So like you can I'm not built like that. You feel me? I'm like Hank. I can help out. I can help out, buy clothes, buy food. I can even give you a place to stay for a few nights here and there, but I don't know if I can actually move you in. I had a friend, he adopted one of my closest friends, he adopted his wife's younger sister. And me and my other friends, we always commend him because that's a heavy burden. Like you said, they already had kids. So he had to adopt them and he had to work extra harder to help provide for them. And I'm not saying he neglected his kids at all because he didn't. But I just know it was so much of a burden on him. That like you can see it, the stress in him sometimes, and it weighed down on him. And I don't know if I'm really built for that to handle that stress. And to Sonny's point earlier, sometimes it ain't even about how you present yourself. It's like what you said. I forget who said it, but trauma. If them kids have a certain level of trauma,
Yeah.
it's no matter how nice of a person you are, how you present yourself. So I agree, age don't matter in some cases, but the level of trauma that kid has, that matters in all cases. Because
Yeah.
if you're not built to handle that trauma, then you're not really built to take care of that child.
Exactly.
Copy that, Smooth.
That's why I think like y'all they've been saying, it takes the type of person, and then you just kind of at least have some understanding of what you're signing yourself up for, the unknown factors of what you choose to take on. Because like to Clint's point, the trauma, what the child's family history is like, what they're used to, and then how your family is structured and how you do things are completely different. But if you can get through all that, then like Willie, he took on different types of situations. So his experience was not bad. My experience with that was not bad at all. It was smooth transition with no problems, and it was what it was. Like I said, I with dating wise, I don't, and I'm not that person. That's I think a lot of people do. And I watch it. Well, not watch it with my son, but when people know that my son's autistic, they try to befriend him more. And it's like, no, if he likes you, he's gonna rock with you regardless. He's gonna be standoffish, and you don't have to try so hard. If he fuck with you, he fuck with you. If he don't, he just don't. And ain't nothing you could do about it. That's just how he's wired. And so you can't really do anything with him to make him like you. And I think that's what a lot of people do too. They try to buy the kid's affection, or keep, like, just be you, and they gonna like you. They gonna like you. They're not gonna like you. I don't. And that was my approach in that situation with anybody's kids that I've dated. I'm not going in like your kids have to like me.
Right.
It's like, hi, I'm so and so. We can have a conversation. Depending on your age level, what I think you can understand. And so we're clear the air. Let's let you know my intentions, and we're good from there. And whatever you take from that, you take from that. And how we'll get to where we need to be if it's for the long haul, and if it's not, it's just not. But I'm not coming in with ill intentions, and
Right.
like that's my standpoint of it. And like I said, it depends on you. Like, what you want to sign up for.
Let's get Smooth out of here. Go ahead, Smooth. Let them know where they can find you. Oh, gotta unmute yourself.
Excuse me, I need to unmute myself first. You can catch me on Twitter all the time at eTrentonGroomy. Catch me on my blog at kingstruth.com and on Snap at a King's Truth. You know what I mean? Holla at your boy. See y'all in 7.
So yeah, so I definitely agree that I think it's your intentions, it's your ability to deal with that situation, as well as your wanting to, like Hype and Smooth said, they just didn't want to put themselves in that situation. And I mean, I think that when you have that choice, then it's you definitely do what's right for you, do what's right for the kid, because sometimes you got to do what's right for the kid too. We all can't just jump in and say, okay, I'm gonna be super parent for this person, because sometimes it just may not be what's right for them. Jasmine says, I definitely have many days when I question if I made the right decision, that I'm not creating the best situation for her to thrive, and no, we didn't know what we were signing up for. And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't know, especially for as young as their niece is, or their daughter now, is that she was 4, right? They definitely didn't know what they were signing up for. I kind of knew what I was signing up for, because I knew the kind of kid that my godson was. My older godson, though, I didn't know what I was signing up for, because I knew he was already a problem at home. He was a problem in the streets, and it was like, am I going to get a problem at my house now? But I had it in my heart to do what I needed to do for my godson, and to try to provide him an opportunity to change his life and to take a different direction. So definitely still commendable to Jasmine and Dame.
Yeah, but maybe therapy might work.
What's right for their kid. I'm sorry.
I said maybe therapy may work.
We'll talk later.
Because I don't know. Like, it's, to me, I don't personally know what you guys are dealing with, but I know with my son, with his autism, it's a lot. With any kid that has any type of disability, where it be a physical, mental, or whatever, it's a lot on people, caretakers, and parents, and it's a lot on them, because they're dealing with what they're dealing with, and sometimes they don't know how to deal with what they're dealing with.
I tell you, we did have therapy. This is before the pandemic happened, when everything had to stop and cease and desist. We did have somebody who was helping us out. They would come get our daughter on Fridays and come back Sunday evening, so we can get a break.
Mm-hmm.
That has stopped now. Like, she's been MIA for the last month. First it started maybe just twice a month. She'll get her for the weekends, and with this, what she just said.
Oh, I got ABA therapy, and I know that all too familiar. My son has ABA therapy. The teacher is here 5 days a week.
Yeah. So now that our respite person has disappeared on us, we don't know what's going on. Like, maybe she just had enough of her too. I don't know. Not say too, but just maybe she just had enough.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is finding the right solution. You're not every opportunity is not a solution.
Yeah.
Right. Keep that in mind. Every opportunity is not a solution. Every solution is not going to happen fast. That's the biggest thing too. Is you got to work through it. Yeah, and she's still young. I mean, I definitely pray for you guys to continue to find the right options and needs, or things to satisfy the needs that she has. Just keep working with her, keep working with the resources to know that you will find a solution. You will.
Yeah, because I found ABA therapy. Like I said, my son started ABA when he was almost 4, and he just started going to a program where they offer a weekend respite. That's why I do the Sex with Sonny on the weekends, because he's not here. I get a break, and he gets to go.
Oh, so you have sex with with Sonny when he's gone? Okay, gotcha.
I try.
Nah, like I can walk y'all down like how I came to that conclusion. Though my uncle had meningitis in the 50s. They cut part of his brain out when he was maybe 3 or something like that. And when I tell you, Unc has about 5-6 things that he's saying, and we running these all day, every day. Just knowing, like, my mom getting Uncle on the weekend, then it was the group home that he was staying in got broke up, and it was all right. They got my aunt at the house across the street so he could sleep over there, but he was really at our house every day. And knowing, like, trying not to have all that burden be on my mom, and being there to try to help her with my uncle, like take him in the shower and go, Unc, wash this, Unc, wash that. Like, walking him through that, and they told my uncle he was only told my grandma my uncle was only supposed to live till he was like 10 or something. Uncle is 70. Like,
Wow.
so
Yeah, he's living his best life.
that's what I'm saying. And Unc is outliving everybody, and Unc got about 6 things he gonna say. And he thinks he's the only person that's been forced to quarantine now for this last year and a half. But knowing just as a kid, like, damn, when Unc come, we gotta be. You can't just go play Madden. Now we gotta sit here and make sure Unc ain't just drinking coffee water in the kitchen, or make sure he ain't doing this, that, or whatever. Like, and that was going on from when as a child to as a young adult to in my 20s, and it was like, man, I couldn't possibly put myself in them situations. So like, salute to y'all, definitely. Like, I mean that sincerely, because like I said, I've been in them shoes. I've been in them shoes trying to get it more so off my mom.
Right.
Because that's her brother. But it's like trying to be like, all right, I ain't gonna let my mom do this shit by herself. And it was like, damn, this is hard. Like,
yeah.
My uncle went to the program drunk, took the water bottle out the trash can, drunk so much water that he had a seizure. Okay.
Wow.
Me and my mom sitting in the hospital with this motherfucker all night before Thanksgiving till like 4 a.m. and still had to go home and cook Thanksgiving after we got out of there. Uncle sitting there the whole time like nothing's going on. What's going on, buddy? We getting out of here after a while, ain't we?
Yeah, I think that people don't realize that the it's a lot.
Yeah, that shit takes a special individual,
and it's not an easy, or it's not an easy job for caretakers and people that in that field. It's a lot. And take on a lot. And parents, we do a lot. We need breaks too. So,
well, speaking of breaks, we're going to take a break from the rest of or from not the rest of the show, but we're going to take a break now and close out this show because we have more shows coming up this week. Thanks to everybody that's been watching and commenting.
Appreciate it. Shouts out to Facebook. That Facebook joint was popping tonight.
That was litty.
Yeah, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and hit the notification bells on any podcast channel that you're on currently, as well as on when you're on the replay. Like we said, we got plenty of shows, plenty of content here at GFT Radio Network, including tonight's show, the GFT Radio Show, which is every Monday at 10 p.m. We have the How to Hustle podcast with Hype every Tuesday at 2 p.m. We have the Styles and Chevy Recap, which is coming back this week. So
I watched the show. I'm ready too.
All right. So tomorrow, listen to Hype on YouTube or on any of the major podcast channels out there. Styles and Chevy.
Shout out to Sonny on that episode too. Sonny on the episode this week.
Oh, right. Guest starring Sonny. That's right. Guest starring Sonny.
And shout out to Mr. Softy who wrote up on Sonny. Yeah, trying to have sex with Sonny.
No doubt. So make sure y'all come back on Wednesday as well. We'll have another live stream here with me and Chevy. We'll be recapping Marvel's What If episode 1. So we will be talking about Marvel's What If episode 1. The Styles Radio Takeover will be this Thursday as well. That's at 10 p.m. Every other Thursday. We also have the Fans Perspective. Make sure you watch or listen to the replay from last week, episode 12 of the Fans Perspective. They talked about football, basketball, the Olympics, fantasy moments, fantasy sports moments, fantasy sports teams, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you go check that out. And then 2 Fridays a month, we're gonna have the Sex with Sunny live show. We're supposed to have it this week, but we are canceling it. So we'll have it next month.
Sorry guys, I had to cancel it.
Yeah, so sorry about that, but we will be picking that up. And new to the network, Gaming with Styles. I haven't done it since last week just because I've been basically traveling and on vacation. So I will be back online and streaming. I'm going to start off with some GTA. So make sure you get back at me. I will be playing some GTA. I'm actually going to be playing tonight in about a half hour or so. So make sure you check that out. And then sometime during the weekend, I'll be playing again. Going to get back to Red Dead Redemption Part 2. So make sure y'all check that out.
Just to let you know, they had an update in Star Wars.
My game, the
Fallen Jedi.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be playing that too this weekend. So make sure y'all check that out. I will be playing that because I've been holding out on my Jedi. So yeah. So make sure y'all get back at me. Gaming with Styles. You know what to do. That's on Facebook Gaming. I am a Level Up creator. So make sure you hit me with some stars to support the channel. All right, let's get to the outros. Let's get started with Sunny.
Hi guys. Hi guys. Dave, shut up. Can you mute him? We don't like him. Anyway, guys, you can follow me at IamSunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm trying to be a TikTok celebrity, so go do that. And my blog, unreservedlyme.com.
Not that kid.
I was trying to see how long he's gonna hold that.
I know, right?
What's up, y'all? Appreciate you hitting the button. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I Am Hype. Facebook is still not letting me in. Shout out to the Facebook group though. Just locked in another station, and episode 29 is out today. Sunny is the special guest on the episode. Shouts out to Mr. Softy. Take two.
And it's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm Willie.Styles on Snapchat. I promise one of my Snapchat followers I will post at least periodically so that they know what I look like and know who I am, because they discovered that we were friends on Instagram and was wondering why they never saw me on Snapchat. So I'm gonna try to post occasionally on there. So go check out my Snapchat at Willie.Styles. Don't forget to check out Gaming with Styles periodically throughout the week, whenever I feel like it. And but hit that notification bell and you will know as well. Visit me over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I've been listening to. Check out this new Wale track that's on there. So just posted that, I believe, about 6 hours ago. So make sure you check that out. Or williestyles.info. For what? All
my bad too. Since you brought up music, I'm doing artist spotlights for the week now. On the pages, you follow me at I Am Hype on Twitter and Instagram. Artist spotlight. Shout out to my man Feek Brown out of Philly. He's the first one that we're doing this week. So every day it'll be a new song from Feek in the story on the Instagram page and on Twitter.
I'll definitely be checking that out so I can bring some of that new music to the show. And spotlighting that as well. So yeah, appreciation.
Copy that.
All right, everybody. Well, appreciate y'all. Oh shoot, thank you, Dame. Dame is on it. Make sure y'all get over and pick up some of our merchandise. We have GFT Radio Show merchandise over at the gftradio.creator-spring.com, or just go click shop now over on the gftradioshow.com page. And hit us up at GFT_radio on Twitter and Instagram, GFT Radio on Twitch, or GFT Radio Network on Facebook. Make sure you join the conversation group on Facebook.com/groups/GFT. Join the conversation. We are having some hot topics over there. One of them was going to be our after show, but we ran out of time. So we will be definitely bringing that topic to you guys here on the show, because I definitely want to talk about that. Because it was definitely a nice heated conversation. Well, I won't say heated. It was a very productive conversation, but we definitely want to spin that up. I know Shan was.
Some of us weren't in the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
She was in on that conversation. Shan Renee was, so definitely shout out to her for being a part of that conversation over at the Join the Conversation group.
You know what I want to know next time for GFT Radio is how you and Clint got a kid. That's all I want to know.
We got two pebbles.
That's patreon.com/GFT Radio Network for the exclusive story.
No doubt. Everybody have a good night. Appreciate y'all.
Bye, guys.
And,
see y'all next week.
We'll see y'all.
See you in 7.
Well, actually, I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Holla.
Bye. Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D, 1/3 of the podcast GFT Radio Show.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles from the GFT Radio Show. Just letting you know you can catch us every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And get some merch. I got some on right now. Go to teesprings.com/stores/GFT Radio.
Grown Folk Talk Radio. Join the conversation. Let's have some fun. Holla.